it is right there in your second speech where it says in detail, it actually explains to you whether you're influencing, informing, persuading, or entertaining your audience. So the very first thing, therefore, is what? Is delivery. Now, when I go to some Toastmasters club, even experienced Toastmasters who are experienced evaluators will begin with, oh, you were great at delivery, you moved around the stage well, your voice was great, your eye contact was great. And so they leave the messaging aside first and focus on delivery. The first thing is, of course, delivery. I mean, content, not delivery. Content is very, very important. And how the content is structured. And that's what my main focus will be, because it's very important. If you want to be a good speaker, a good presenter, you need to consider these things that the evaluator is looking for. So this presentation is really for both, in a way. Because if the evaluator is looking for certain things, that means the speaker needs to make sure those things are present in their presentation, so that the evaluator, when they sort of look at those things, they will say you did well in them, rather than you should focus more and gain strength in this. They will say you did great in these things. Of course, then evaluator will always pick on something, wouldn't they? To say, what can you do better? So to evaluate like a pro, we raise the bar by focusing not only on the delivery, but on the architecture of the presentation. Fair enough today? Okay. So let's evaluate like a pro. The first thing, of course, then, is in any presentation, right? An evaluator simply doesn't listen, they dissect, they analyze the moving parts of a presentation and what is really the crux of the presentation. The audience takeaway is key. Any presentation that you do, in fact, any communication that you do, I mean, in a formal setting, not with friends in New Year's, joking around, sitting around a coffee table, having a coffee, fine, there's no perhaps any audience takeaway. But in any other setting, there's always supposed to be an audience takeaway, whether you're making a presentation in the boardroom, with your colleagues, in your teams, in your community, when there's a group of people, or even one-on-one conversation at your workplace, there is supposed to be an audience takeaway when it's related to work. So was there a clear call to action? Was there a really takeaway? What were the fundamental things that the other person got from your presentation or from your communication, so they could act upon it? Did every element of the speech drive towards that final element of the audience takeaway? How many of you here watch World Champions of Public Speaking to hone in your own skills? Anyone here? Say yes if you do. No if you don't. It's okay. We're all learning. So if you watch World Champions of Public Speaking on a regular basis, put in the chat yes. You're a bit slow today. That's fine. You'll have to be a bit faster because this is interactive, as the Toastmaster said. I mean, the person who was introducing me, the Master of Ceremonies. So, 2 of them, 3, 4, oh, great, well, perfect. You all switched on your keyboards, you all switched on your chat, and a lot of you do watch World Champions of Public Speaking. Now, in their presentation, remember, their presentation is very simple to begin with. And they spend at least the last part, a last segment of their own story or whatever it is they're talking about on the audience takeaway. And they will turn around every presentation, they'll say, and dear audience, now what about you? Right? What about you? And what are you going to do? And are you facing this situation? And it's all about audience takeaway or the call to action, right? So those of you who really watch and study World Champions of Public Speaking, you can become a great speaker just by dissecting their speech. Always audience takeaway. So you, as an evaluator, have to make sure that the speaker has an audience takeaway, and how much time did they spend on it, and was there really a takeaway, or was there a call to action? I know And you know, from time to time, the whole presentation will be about the speaker, and then at the one sentence at the end, they will say, and what about you, the audience, what will you do? That's not really an audience takeaway. Okay, so as a speaker now you know as well how to construct your speech, and as an evaluator you know what to listen for. Next thing you should listen for is the structure. How did they construct this presentation? What was the title of the presentation? How did they construct the presentation? Right? So audience takeaway, structure is the next thing. Did the speech flow with precision from title to opening to content to the conclusion? And how was it layered to come to that conclusion? And how was it constructed? And were there any transitions between different points? Was there a smooth flow to the story if it was a personal story? Were there details in the story that were not necessary? A lot of speakers make a mistake when they're speaking. They give you so many details and they run out of time that there's no audience takeaway. Simplify the presentation. That means the evaluator has to look for, was it simple enough, and were there details in there that could have been excluded? Were the ideas layered intentionally, leading the audience step by step towards the conclusion, which was delivered with clarity and conviction? And did the audience go, aha, I get it? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, evaluations, let's do the basics first. As to, if you are an evaluator, what are the expectations? Right? And so we're going to go beyond the basics basics of listening skills, but we are not doing the basic evaluation, we are doing a pro skills evaluations, right? Which means there's critical thinking involved, and content mastery is very, very important. See, I always say that if a speaker, and this is what you've got to watch for, if they have their content confidently internalized, what will happen is their other foundational skills, body movement, pauses, eye contact, all those wonderful delivery stuff would just flow naturally if they knew the content well and if it was internalized. So again, content is key. And to think like a pro evaluator, you have to apply these these are all now critical thinking aspects of listening to a speaker. That means you have to be a very good listener. As well, I go to many Toastmasters clubs globally, and in my own district as well. I'm invited everywhere. And I listen to speakers. And there have been speakers who've been around for 5, 10, 15 years, and there's a glass ceiling. They're speaking the same that they were speaking in the year number 2 because of the evaluations that they're getting, and because they've never attended a workshop on evaluations or on speaking, right? And even if they did, but everybody else was doing the lower level type of evaluations, the beginner type, and so the club doesn't grow. And when the club doesn't grow, eventually it gets a very high churn rate. To retain members, you have to be a very good evaluator, and evaluations are key. And we, in my clubs that I am with, we do evaluation workshops on a very regular basis. So, as an evaluator, you need to think critically, make sure that the speaker understands that you've been thinking critically, and that you understand how the content is layered. That means to evaluate like a pro, you also need to be a great speaker to understand that. If you're a great evaluator, you become a great speaker. If you're a great speaker, you become a great evaluator. See that? It is just, you can't be one without the other. It is two sides of a coin. So, talking about two sides of the coin, here's a speaker, right? In most clubs, they think that, okay, here's a speaker and here's an evaluator. And that what happens is there is a line between them. There's a wall between them. This thing here, right? Oops, let's get this right. And so they think that there's a wall between them, and they never speak to each other before a presentation. And the evaluator normally doesn't even know what the speaker is going to be speaking about beforehand. But we always recommend that a speaker and evaluator should get together before a presentation, right? We do. If you have never been asked to do that, you should be doing that. And now you know that you should be doing that. The reason being simply this. The reason being that I've already said this, there's two sides of the same coin, right? There's two sides of the same coin. And so a speaker and an evaluator is an inseparable partnership to begin with. So to become an effective evaluator, get together with the speaker, either on Zoom or physically. It doesn't really matter how you get together with the speaker and get to know what they're going to be speaking about, what are they really working on, the next skill, why are they doing this particular type of presentation, what is their eventual goal, where do they really want to get to in that process. And because of that understanding, you can give them the right type of evaluation that they need for the next level to jump up to the next level. This prevents that glass ceiling, and it also enables the evaluator to grow and the speaker to grow even before the presentation is done. And also sharpens the evaluator's listening skills. Because now you know what you have got to listen for specifically to the speaker's request. So it is a relationship. Remember, it is a relationship. You cannot exist in a vacuum, and you shouldn't be existing in a vacuum. All right? So, what is critical thinking? Let's define it a little bit, okay? I said I will not define it, but it looks like I didn't take that slide out. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Critical thinking is, I blanked out a word there, process of analyzing and evaluating and drawing conclusions with the purpose of, let's see, critical thinking is the deliberate and disciplined process of analyzing, evaluating and drawing conclusions with the purpose of elevating with excellence. You're listening for, of course, audience takeaways, the structure, and so on, right? And the conclusion and the opening and the title. And the specific request that the speaker has made as well on top, plus the purpose of that presentation. So there are so many things involved, right? As well. And that's why we call it evaluate like a pro. You really have to listen well. And so therefore, what do you need to do while the speaker is speaking? You go to take some notes as an evaluator, right? Relevant notes. You can't write everything that they're saying, and you're not supposed to be saying everything that they said. Some evaluators repeat what the speaker has already spoken about. No, you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to say what the speaker did well, where they can improve, and the delivery, and where the delivery can improve, and summarize it at the end. That's your evaluation. You only get 3 minutes. 3 minutes goes by so quickly. All right? So take notes. And what was the title of the presentation? Right? What was the opening? How did they open? What about the key points in the body? And how was the content layered to move the audience to the conclusion? Was there a takeaway? Was there a call to action? Yes, I'm pausing. Okay, so here you go again. So let me just repeat what I've just said, because this is so important. And the next 7-8 points I just go very quickly now. This was the most important part of the presentation of what I mean. I've got 2 big, huge screens. If I'm not looking in the lens all the time, I'm really looking at my 2 big screens here, all right? Okay, in case you are evaluating me, which I would love, of course, at the end as well. So, how the presentation is structured is important, right? And based on how the presentation is structured, what was the conclusion? What was the call to action? That's what you're listening for. Specifically, the conclusion. I would ask evaluators, test it out. The first thing that you say is your call to action was, or this is the takeaway, this is what I took away from your presentation, this is what your presentation was about. Try that. I think it makes a very powerful evaluation when you start from that point of view, perspective. I've trained many evaluators, and when evaluators start from that perspective, this was my call to action, this is what I got from your presentation, suddenly the evaluation becomes much, much simpler to evaluate to begin with, because now you know, based on that, based on what the call to action was, now you can say, okay, this was your title, this is what you did, this is what you said, and it did lead to the call to action, and it was very clear, or this is where you can improve, and this is what the skills that you still need to put in, this is where you need to think critically, right? Start with call to action and see what happens. Now, I've done this workshop many times and said this, very few people will do that. Those are the ones who become champions. So here's a challenge to you. Will you become a champion in the end? Once you know what the call to action is, and you tell the speaker, this was your call to action, or this is what I got from your presentation, right? And this was the conclusion. Then you say, did the title fit in with the call to action? Right? This title, did it fit in with the call to action? It has to. A lot of speakers, especially in Toastmasters, it has to be mysterious. It doesn't have to be mysterious. You go to any professional keynotes, I'm motivational, inspirational, not those boring ones, like accounting. I used to be an accountant. But the ones that really motivate you and inspire you, sometimes there's no ambiguity, or if it is ambiguous, it really becomes clear as to why that ambiguity was there in the title and the conclusion, and becomes very clear. But most Toastmasters in Toastmasters just want this mystery thing happening. It's not really necessary. Listen to the world champions of public speaking, right? You'll know why. If you listen to Aaron Beverly from 2016, where he was the runner-up in the World Champions of Public Speaking. His title was 57 words long. Poor past international president Aruna Salam, who introduced him, he had to spend one whole minute reading the title, and the name, the title, the name. But it was very apparent as soon as he started to speak why that title was there, right from the beginning. Right? So, those are the important things. The call to action, title, opening, are they matching in some way? And the construction of the presentation, did it fall into the conclusion, is important? And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, this thing over here. Now, I don't know, my slides don't seem to be showing well. I don't know why. Oops. Oh well. But I just moved one slide ahead. But what I was going to say was, if you look at level 1, speech number 2, writing a speech, constructing a speech, right? That's the one. And there's 4 things, right? Are you informing, influencing, persuading, whatever, entertaining? This is the basics. That could be so many other things, like, a negotiating type of presentation or motivational type of presentation and so on, right? Influencing and so on. But there's 4 types that are mentioned in just the second speech, and how to construct a speech based on those 4 types of presentations. So you learn very early on that how the content is constructed is really in the second speech, right? So don't forget to tell the speaker, to me, what it looked like was you were informing me or inspiring me, or you're persuading me, or you're entertaining me. Now, the entertaining part is very easy if they were speaking from the humorous pathway, right? But they could be speaking humorously from another pathway as well, or they're just entertaining you. You don't know. So you have to be very careful listening in. What are those categories? Where are they speaking from? And was the languaging in accordance with their presentation? Now you see that the bar is much steeper than what you thought, right? Actually. So very quickly, structure and organization, right? These are the things that I will now talk about very quickly. There are 7 or 8 points, about 9 points, I think. I talk about clarity of message, use of evidence in a presentation, engagement with the audience, right? Language and rhetoric are more focused on languaging, delivery skills, right? The Zoom presence, right? Right now I'm on Zoom presence or the physical presence, and what to avoid doing in an evaluation. And of course, all evaluations must have a summary, just like a speech or anything that you do, even a table topic, a summary, a very quick summary of what it is that you'd said for the presenter, right? So, okay, next. So in the very first point, structure and organization. You have to analyze how well the speaker structured their presentation, right? And did they inform? Did they inspire? Did they persuade or entertain? Right? Enough said about that, right? And the conclusion, the key message. Did they have a clear opening, body, and so on? Conclusion. Critical thinking involves the ability to organize thoughts coherently. How was the presentation layered, and did it drive to make a point? Okay. So now that I've covered extensively, but now let's go on to other things that we need to talk about. But this is the most important part. That's why I've been hammering about it for quite a while now. Clarity of message. Now, as an evaluator, as a pro evaluator, as the one who is thinking critically, assess whether the speaker conveyed their main message well, right? It requires the ability to distill complex ideas into clear, understandable points. And did the presentation move forward building on previous points, or did it go backwards and re-explain a point? What was the flow? So I find that speakers at times, what they do is they will say a few things, they'll go to the next point, and then they'll go back and present the point that already explained back. So how did they go about that presentation, right? The flow has to be layer by layer to the conclusion. And so that clarity of message, was it clear enough? And did it move forward and build upon the previous idea? So it's the flow. How did it flow? Okay, that's the second point. Clarity of message. Next, use of evidence. What do we mean by use of evidence? Most of you have done research in your fourth speech or third or fourth. I can't offhand, of course, remember. I've done all of them. And I do them on a regular basis, but I can't remember them offhand. But the research speech is there, right? In level 1, I think, as well as in level 3 as something that you choose if you wanted to choose a research speech. But if there was facts and figures, right, did they support the claim with relevant examples and evidence? Where did they get this from? Was it from the Harvard Business Review or the New England Medical Journal? Where was it from? Or was it from the Hindustan Times, or you are in UAE, so wherever you are, what if they use some technical stuff? Where did they get it from? When was it published? Who were the authors? That adds to their argument if they are trying to convey and persuade you with something, right? So it shouldn't be, no, ChatGPT told me that. You got to laugh, right? ChatGPT told me, so it must be true. Yeah, you can laugh, yes. And please put off your sound if you're not speaking together at the same time. Make sure they have told you where this information came from. Critical, right? So that's a not ChatGPT. Unless of course, ChatGPT will supply you with the necessary information. If you used, AI to do research for you, sure, use it. but make sure that the evidence is there, so where it came from. Okay. Next, engagement with the audience. Consider how well the speaker engaged with the audience. Did they use anecdotes, questions, other techniques to involve the audience in their presentation? Critical thinking includes adapting your audience's needs and reactions at the same time. Engagement with the audience. So, I haven't been asking too many questions myself. So here's a question for you. Are you really engaged with me? Yes or no? Did you go to sleep, or are you awake? We can use the chat. All right. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the vote of confidence. All right. Let's go on to the next one. You got to laugh, right? We're all Toastmasters. And we know, right, our mind wanders and all that. And I totally understand that. So, okay. Language. The grammar, the words, how was it put together? Did they say it in the right manner? Did it come across well? Right? Yes, we are engaged with your presentation. Thank you. Okay, so did the speaker use the language, vocabulary in the right manner? Did they use persuasive techniques effectively if there were persuasive techniques? Did they inform well if it was an informational presentation? Did they inspire if it was an inspirational type of presentation? Did they motivate if it was a type of motivational presentation in terms of the language they used? Not only the gestures and jumping around, like all those heavy dramatics that people do these days, it's not necessary. It turns me off. I always tell, watch the world champions of public speaking, the champions, all right? Last year's winner, not Sabiasi Sengupta, but last year's winner, Luisa Montalvo, sitting in a wheelchair. Did she have many gestures? Did she have this body language? It was the words and how she spoke from the heart, right? Watch that. If you haven't watched Luisa Montalvo, I think this is one of the top most, my favorite, presentations ever on a world stage. It really exemplifies that all the drama that speakers tend to do these days is not necessary. And I tell them, go beyond Toastmasters and go watch a TED Talk. Go watch a TED Talk. Are they doing any dramatics and moving around and jumping around? No. They know the subject well, they're delivering from the heart, and the languaging is well. So as an evaluator, as a pro evaluator, you got to catch that. If they're doing over dramatization, tell the speaker. You don't need to over dramatize yourself. Use language instead, use the pauses, use your highs and lows of your voice if necessary, but don't jump around. It's not necessary. Somebody last year lost 2 or 3 seconds because they were doing all sorts of actions and jumping up and down and running on the chair and all that, right? And they went overtime. Actually, several speakers went overtime. And you remember, if you watched the World Champions of Public Speaking live last year, the judges took forever to come back with a conclusion. So, language is important, is what I'm saying. Language is important. How the language is used to convey effectively rather than the pantomime movements around. Okay, enough said, right? Enough said. Delivery skills, we all know about delivery skills. You see, I hope I've done some good delivery skills for you without jumping around too much. Good delivery skills are essential for effective communication and the speaker's tone of voice, the pace, the gestures, the eye contact, the pauses and everything else. And especially the pose. A confident speaker and all the world champions of public speaking have mastered the pose. They pose and they're not afraid to pose as they look at the audience and just keep quiet. and let the message settle in before they say the next thing. Are you watching for that, dear evaluator? For the effect. And as a speaker, now you're learning a lot as well as a speaker, right? A confident and engaging delivery enhances the impact of critical thinking, and the pause always tells us whether you're confident about your presentation, whether it will tell the evaluator, it always tells me whether this presentation was done 2 minutes before they came on to speak, which most Toastmasters do, or 3 days before, or they wrote the presentation 2 months ago and they practiced it and now they're delivering it. Always comes out in the delivery skills. Delivery skills are really fundamental. Once you downpeg them, you really need to just focus on content. The delivery skills come automatically. Like my delivery skills today, I really didn't practice my delivery skills. And every time I do this presentation, it is different. And I speak differently based on my feel with the audience. I know where to pause and where not to pause because they are now down-packed, right? So that's what you could look for as an evaluator. Enough said. I think I'm perhaps running out of time. I think I've got the green light, so that we're good. Zoom presence, or of course physical presence, whichever it is. So make sure if it is Zoom presence that the lighting is adequate, right? The background, the speaking space, the movement, the eye contact with the camera, the moving back and forth, or moving around, still being in frame is good. And also for Zoom especially, it's very, very important. It's a technical jargon they use in the movie industry, in the TV industry. It's called framing. How do you frame yourself? Which means how the light is coming on you, what's the background color, the color of your clothes, the color, the tone of your skin, and all that is very, very important. The tone of your skin, tone of your shirt, tone of your jacket, the background colors you're going to be using is very, very important in Zoom. It's called framing. It's a technical term used in the industry. Right? Because I find that sometimes, somebody who's very lighter skinned, they have a very light background as well, and they're wearing light clothes, they become almost invisible. And vice versa, darker skin tones, darker background, not enough lighting, they become invisible, right? So you've got to make sure the framing is well. Evaluator, watch for that. And make sure you use the appropriate words to describe it for the speaker to take to the next level. Okay. And now the physical presence as well. If I was on a physical stage, I would move a bit more, right? And because I won't be blocking my slides, so I would move a bit more, right? And this was what I would do, and not disappear, of course, like I'm disappearing right now a bit, and how I'm moving back and forth. Necessary movements, of course, not just moving around back and forth, pacing them, but deliberate movements on the stage that gives the speaker the presence of confidence, conviction, credibility. And on Zoom as well. So make sure that happens. Tell the speaker. Right? Now, my favorite pet peeve is here. This is what I really dislike when the evaluator starts to evaluate. And you know all this, you've heard this before, right? I would always tell people, avoid, don't start with the word wow, I loved it, amazing, awesome. How many of you are guilty of that? Are you? You've done it, right? Or the speaker finishes speaking and it goes back to the Toastmaster of the day, and the Toastmaster of the day, the first thing that says, wow, awesome, amazing, great speech. Don't do that. But as an evaluator, especially because this is for evaluators, don't begin your presentation or anywhere, don't say these words at all anywhere in your presentation. Doesn't matter what sort of presentation was being made. Just don't use wow, I loved, amazing, awesome. Don't. Zero. Okay? Instead, use this, right? You excelled at whatever it is, right? or you were effective at whatever it was they were effective at. You excelled at whatever it is that they did well. And of course, where could you be more effective? Use this. This is the place, which means you're telling them where to sort of overcome the weakness, where you could be more effective, and this is where you excelled, and this is where you were effective. And that's it. Use those words. Forget the wow, whatever. My pet peeve. So I'm going to talk about it a bit more. Okay. Oh, and let's not forget, what would it take for them to get to the next level? So what's left there from this presentation that will take them to the next level? Okay. So let me reiterate, avoid fluff, right? Speak with precision. Don't say that was awesome, you were great, forget that. Do say your use of metaphor in the opening was effective in setting the context, for example. Yeah. Okay. Don't waffle. Deliver clear, structured, specific feedback. You only have 3 minutes. And my favorite word, fluff. Don't use it. Don't use this word. I mean, don't use fluff words, right? Does nothing. We don't want to make people just feel good for the purpose of feeling good. If somebody said, "Wow, awesome, amazing," as an evaluator to my presentation, I wouldn't want that person to be my evaluator next time, ever, unless we had a good talk. So, because I don't need it. I need real clear direction in my evaluation. That's what I need. At the end, always summarize your main point. Right, an effective conclusion always highlights the main areas that encourages the speaker to the next project and how you're going to summarize that. That's it. I think we've covered everything that we need to. I don't think we have much more to cover. A little bit, I suppose, is, of course, as a takeaway, is evaluator's checklist for critical thinking. Pro thinking would be, what was the title? How did it set the tone? Right? Did the opening draw attention? What was the opening like in the presentation? What were the key points and how they were stacked together? Was there a strong conclusion? Was there a call to action? Right? Evaluators may begin with my takeaway. My call to action was, and see what lens, what comes out. It's a suggestion, it's a recommendation. If you want to be very good at evaluations, try that out first and see. See what happens. Now remember, again, every presentation is about the audience. It's not about the speaker. It's not about me, I did this, I was there, and I was sad, and then I was happy, and then my life became great again. So what about the audience? Yeah, sure, great to hear about your life. So, as a speaker, it is their duty to add value to the audience. So as an evaluator, you are to listen for that value, and was there value added to the audience? Value add, always, always, always. So here they are, the 10 or 9 things that we talked about. Critical thinking in advanced evaluations, which is, of course, evaluating like a pro. Evaluating like a pro means thinking critically. If you followed all these 9 points, you are thinking critically. There's a lot of points, of course, and you cannot have all this in a 3-minute evaluation. Depending on the type of presentation, depending on what you and the speaker, when you got together before the presentation, you'll know what to focus on. And there may be other points that might come up during the presentation, even while you were talking to the speaker. It wasn't really apparent, but it came out. Oh, you missed something. You didn't tell us the facts. Where did you get the facts from? You just mentioned that there's global warming, but where are the facts from? So just tell us where they came from, right? And so on. By the way, global warming is my favorite subject. Some people disagree, that's fine. Okay, we are not here to debate. So how the presentation is structured, once more, This is the most important slide. That's why it's in red. Call to action is very, very important, right? And then the title and the opening, they should tie in. Oops, and that's it. Sorry. Oh, let's see. Oh, there we go. So, oh, all right. Technical error. Technical error. So I think it is that. Yeah, it was a technical error. I pressed some wrong button, but here it is. Call to action, right? And therefore the title and how they are connected together, and then how it was constructed to the conclusion, right? And did the presentation inform, inspire, persuade, or entertain, which is the second speech in a pathways. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let's start evaluating like a pro in UAE, Dubai. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Wow, thank you very much, DTM Brahm Memone, for an insightful and impactful workshop on evaluation. Let's give him a huge round of applause. Before we proceed with our next session, now I kindly request everyone to turn on your cameras for a group photo to remember today's event. Zoom Master? All right, smile. Thank you very much. Moving on, we will witness some of our champion evaluators from Division A demonstrate the art of evaluation. To lead this next session, I invite our dedicated Area 2 Director, Toastmaster Shatish Vivekananthan. Toastmaster Shatish has been a Toastmaster since 2011, currently serving as Area 2 Director and immediate past President of Arabian Dreams Toastmasters Club. Over to you, Toastmaster Shatish.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Toastmaster Sunitha. And very good evening, distinguished Toastmasters and fellow Toastmasters, and our district leaders, DTM Sujil, and our division director, Toastmaster Prasad. Yeah. So to begin with today's evaluation, so we have done the understanding about importance of the evaluation, how it's critical for the success of the speakers as well as for the retention of the members within the club. So we set the tone, and we had a wonderful session with DTM Brahm Memone, and he has very well explained with his experience. He shared his insights. So now let us see how we are going to use and also to have a practical approach to learn more about this evaluation like a pro. So to begin with that, I would like to welcome today's test speaker for this evaluation session, Toastmaster Mohammed Mustafa. The timer, please note the timing for this speech will be 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Mohammed Mustafa, you are ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so audible and visible?
Yes. Yeah. And Toastmaster Mohammed Mustafa, pity fly or butterfly? Pity fly or butterfly? Toastmaster Mohammed Mustafa, over to you.
The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even not touched. It must be felt with the heart. I learned the reality of the quote by Helen Keller way back during my college days. It was one lovely moonlit night. The gentle breeze was kissing my face as I waited for the love of my life, Jency. She ran towards me, hugged me, and started to cry. Jency, what happened? Are you all right? Mustafa, I did not mean you to put you down in front of our friends. Please forgive me. I firmly held her. Jency, why are you crying for such a small issue? I have let go all of this. I believe one day you would understand my love. Now tell me that you love me too. She nodded, then I too hugged her and she whispered on my shoulders, Mustafa, it is time. I said, no. She again, Mustafa, it is time to wake up. I was jolted out of my dream. When I opened my eyes, instead of my beautiful Jency, there were another woman's face was staring down at me. My mother's. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been rudely woken during the climax of your love? Please raise your hand if your wife is not here. But Jency was not a dream. She was real. She was the most prettiest and beautiful girl in the class. We did many things together at all the times, but she did not accept my love. It was not her fault. If anything, it was mine. Because of my appearance, the way I look. Back in those days, I was so lean, like a lizard. My teeth projected look like that of a squirrel, including Jency, everyone teasing me, saying that I could grab coconuts using my teeth. But I believe I would win her over one day with the goodness of my heart. Till one fateful day, she said she fell in love with a handsome boy. My dear Toastmaster, have you ever felt a crushing emptiness in your chest that pushing you so hard that you can hardly breathe? I felt my life was at an end. I felt stupid, ugly, and useless. I was depressed and even contemplated suicide. As fate would have it that day, one of the office faculties entered into the class. Dear boys and girls, we need some volunteers to help the visually impaired children of our school in their studies. Anyone? Without hesitation, I raised my hand. Anything to get away from seeing Jency with her love. He enrolled my name and asked me to visit the hostel during weekend. I went to the hostel. What I saw changed my life forever. My first sight was of a boy who was walking inside the room by touching and sensing the walls. Another boy was eating and his food was scattered on the floor and he does not know there were flies on it. The organizer arranged me a group of children to me and I started to teach them. As I was explaining Animal Kingdom to them, a small hand held me and asked me to explain about how does an elephant looks. Suddenly all of them shrieked, yes, yes, Mustafa brother, tell us how does an elephant look, please. I silently broke into tears. I spent my time there till evening. I got to know most of them. Believe me, they did not see their blindness as a disability or value in self-pity. Instead, they were looking forward towards their dream. Some of them wanted to be a teacher, doctor, and even actors. When I finished the subject, all of them hugged me and pleaded with me to come again. I felt a great sense of love and peace in my heart that I had never before. My dear Toastmasters, I felt my life was at an end because a girl rejected me. But here there were visually impaired children and youth who had no eyesight yet had a great vision of their future. But I have physical eyesight yet blinded towards the beautiful blessings and countless opportunities in my life. It reminded me of a program I watched on the National Geographic Channel. It was on the life cycle of a larva from an ugly caterpillar to a beautiful, vibrant, and colorful butterfly. I realized my personal appearance may not be dashing. It does not matter so long as my attitude is dashing, vibrant, and positive. My dear Toastmasters, you may all face such rejections, perhaps in your business, career. Please do not bring those rejections to bring you down. Trust me, when you change your focus to be blessings to others, those every setbacks and rejections will transform you into a beautiful, vibrant, and colorful butterfly. Today, still, I go to sleep, but only this time, it's not with a beautiful girl, but my desire to make the world a better place. My dear Toastmasters, what do you dream about? Pretty fly or butterfly? Contest here. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Muhammad Mustafa, for being with us for this speech. And timers, if you could tell us the timing Toastmaster Muhammad Mustafa took for this speech. Or you can...
time taken by Toastmaster Mustafa is 6 minutes and 55 seconds. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Kamal. Yeah. Now it's time for me to introduce the 5 evaluators who have volunteered for this evaluation today. And they will be evaluating, a few of them will be, 3 of them will be evaluating based on the contest evaluation template that markings, we use it for the contest evaluation they will be using. And 2 of them will be using the speech, the inspire your audience, that criteria for this speech evaluation based on this project. There are 5. So let me introduce one by one. If you can say hello. Toastmaster Fatten.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. And Toastmaster Kennybeth.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Toastmaster Nilesh.
Hi, good evening all.
Good evening. Thank you. Toastmaster Neha.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening. Toastmaster Sergio Abirat.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you. And timer, please note the timing for the evaluation will be 2 to 3 minutes. Then 2 minutes will be green, then 2 minutes and 30 seconds will be amber, and the red will be at 3, and it will last for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah. Now, I will request this Zoom master to take all the evaluator except for the first evaluator, Fatten, to take to the, say it's a meeting room, so that they will be allowed to come in once the first evaluator completed his evaluation.
The first one is Fatten, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Just give me one. Since we are not giving them time for a few minutes to write or just evaluation after 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay, sure. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, thanks.
Please give them 5 minutes. In the meantime, we can have some question answer session, or we can have a feedback from other people.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So all of them we have taken to the
Yes, they are all there.
meeting room.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So by 9:15 we can start the evaluation. Yeah.
In the meantime, we can, I think, ask if any there's a question for Brahm, or we can invite other people to share their feedback.
Yeah,
And
sure.
as Ben on you.
Yeah, to save the time. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Yeah, you can put it in the chat message, or you can unmute and ask a question to our trainer today, DTM Brahm.
Or you can just have the view from our some of our dignitaries are here.
Yeah. So we have DTM Sujil.
No, he
messaged already.
DTM Security already spoke. I
Already.
think we can check with
Yeah.
our like our district admin manager, our district language chair.
Great.
They are here.
Toastmaster Anne Viramantri, you are here?
Yes, I'm here.
Our district admin manager, Toastmaster Anne. Yeah, you can share your feedback or your thoughts and insights.
Yes, actually, I should congratulate Division A for organizing this wonderful event, because the contest season is just around the corner. And I think today, Distinguished Toastmaster Brahm has given some valuable pointers for whoever is contesting. And at the same time, to all day-to-day Toastmasters, where we would like to go for a meeting, give our honest feedback. Definitely, all the pointers that he had explained today will definitely help all of us. Back to you, Satish.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anne. And yeah. So, and also I would like to invite Toastmaster Mohammed Mustafa, if you could introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, if you could introduce and yeah.
Yeah, my name is Mustafa. I'm from Mahisna Toastmaster Club. I'm traveling in the Toastmaster Club since 3 years. It is my one of my mentor. He was in my career mentor also. When I was giving my presentation to him, that he said your presentation is can be developed if you are joining in the Toastmasters. He is now in Saudi. And it is fortunate for me that when I joined the Toastmasters, I could see that there are some developments, particularly how to present that timing in 10 minutes. That presentation is same pathways and all available. So that helped me to exactly to follow the same in the career also. Then I also became last year president of my club. Now I am past president. And it is a great journey, and it is a great opportunity from our area itself to give me a chance to present my speech among you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed Mustafa, for your valuable participation and contribution for today's event. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah. So now I think we can start with the evaluation. Zoom Master, we can bring the first evaluator. So
okay,
that
I will bring you.
Pattern. Yeah.
I've sent a message as well as trying to move him. Just give me.
Yeah. Yeah, we can. Yeah, Toastmaster Fatten, are you there? You can unmute yourself so that we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah, great.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, perfect.
Can you start your video? Can you start your video so that we can highlight you?
Honestly, the internet connection won't help me a lot. I know that by evaluation, it's better to look at the delivery as well. But I'm afraid if I do so, it might affect the audio quality because I had the technical difficulties at the beginning. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Should I start?
Yes, now timers, are we ready? We can start, yeah? Yeah, so let's welcome the first evaluator, Toastmaster Fatten. Toastmaster Fatten. Over to you.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. And good evening, everyone. Today, Toastmaster Muhammad taught us how through one rejection, we can broaden or broaden our vision to look at all the countless opportunities in the future. He talked to us through this message about two butterflies, the petit fly and the butterfly. And today in my evaluation, and through the inspiring message that he shared with us, I will be talking about two additional butterflies. One that flies to the positive areas, the areas that Toastmaster Muhammad excelled at, and another butterfly that flies to the areas of improvement and that leads Muhammad to the next level of his public speaking journey. Starting first with the areas that Toastmaster Muhammad excelled at, which are one, the framing. Of course, we were all capable of hearing Muhammad, listening to Muhammad, and also visually looking at him. He had the perfect lighting, the perfect background, the perfect positioning of the camera, which also helped him whenever he was using his vocal variety or body movement. And in fact, he did that whenever he said the word stupid, useless, he was using them in a very loud voice. And he also used the storytelling approach with evidence to portray the end message, which was to always look beyond the rejection. And he also engaged with the audience by asking a question, so by raising our hands. So he makes sure that he connects with us not only through the stories that he shared, but also making sure during his speech that we're also engaged. Now, moving on to the second part, the butterfly flying to the areas of improvement. Toastmaster Muhammad, although he did use stories and several evidence throughout his speech, one part that he could excel at or work more at is the structure of the message. And when I say that is that throughout his speech, when he presented the different stories, the elephant, the girl, and all of these elements that showed us how credible his message is, when he reached the conclusion, he repeatedly kept mentioning the call to action several times as if he didn't have enough credibility at the beginning. So, for example, when he mentioned the countless opportunities, and then he addressed to us and said that he sleeps because he wants to make the world a better place, he could have just stopped here instead of reiterating the story again. Another area of improvement where Muhammad could also work on is lowering his energy in in certain aspects of the speech. So, for example, when he said "broke in tears," he said it in a very high tone that we did not feel that it was a tearful moment. It could easily be perceived as a positive moment. And the same also goes when he was crying at the beginning of the act. It was also a bit over dramatic because we also couldn't feel connected to the emotion that he was trying to portray. Now, all in all, Toastmaster Muhammad excelled in delivering an inspiring message, an inspiring story, a credible one. He's someone with a great ability to storytell through the acts, the vocal variety, the body language. I would encourage him in the future to work more on the structure of the speech and to manage his energy to match the message he's trying to portray. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pattern. You have become of course. And now the second evaluator, can the Zoom master bring the second evaluator, Kenny Burt, Toastmaster Kenny Burt? Yeah. So if you could unmute and say hello, Toastmasters, so that we can check your audibility.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, you are audible. So Toastmaster Kenny Burt will be evaluating based on inspire your audience. That's the project objective. So let's welcome Toastmaster Kenny Burt. Over to you, Toastmaster Kenny Burt.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmasters. Fellow Toastmasters, a pleasant evening to all of you and to my target speaker, Toastmaster Mustafa. The most beautiful thing cannot be seen but felt by the heart. What a wonderful opening. That opening keep me on hook. So that's a good way, a good tactic to start your speech. Now, the title, Pitifly or the Butterfly. At first, it keeps me thinking, what does it mean when we say petifly and what it is in a context when you say butterfly? Like I put myself into that when I hear the title of your speech, which lead me to ensure that I'm listening all throughout on how it goes along. Because I got, of course, hooked by your speech title itself. So that's another good tactic to have your audience stay with you all throughout your speech itself. Now, what you excelled at during today's speech is your speech delivery. The body language is there. Your hand, your facial expression is talking together when you are delivering the context of your speech, which is good. Because at the end of the day, when you are delivering a speech, you should connect to the audience very well. We should understand what exactly you want us to understand based on how we see you move, how we see your facial expression. Are you really giving us the right expression based on the words that you are uttering? So this is something that you excelled at your speech today. You make me feel as well that I am dreaming with you. I can see how you this is how a dream looks like, and this is going to be what it is when you are dreaming with someone you love. So you give us that feeling today, which is very good. What can you improve? You can add intentional pauses, especially when you are doing transition between the events during your speech. The first time is when you deliver the dream with your loved one, Gen Z, and the time when you transition to a place wherein you are meeting the kids and delivering those stories. You can do per forceful pauses on that, and so your audience can also relate to the transitioning itself. That's something that you can work to improve on your speech. My takeaway on your speech today, we always have to ensure that we are grateful in everything we have, because oftentimes we basically mislook the great things that we have. Some other people wish to have what we have, so we need to always go and always choose to have a grateful heart, and it will always lead us to a happy and purposeful life. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kenny. But can we have a big round of applause for Toastmasters Kenny before joining us and volunteering for today's evaluation? May I request the Zoom master to bring the third evaluator, Toastmaster Nilesh. Toastmaster Nilesh, if you could unmute yourself, we can check your audibility.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you are very much audible. And timer, are we ready? We can, yeah. Toastmasters, please join me welcoming Toastmaster Nilesh. He will be evaluating based on contest evaluation markings. Over to you, Toastmaster Nilesh.
The most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must felt with heart. Helen Keller. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests, and special good evening to my target speaker, Toastmaster Mustafa. He started with the great quote, he grabbed our attention, and he then moved to the transition of the dream with Gen Z. He started with the positive things. He tried to connect with us with questions. Even he tried to communicate with us. Raise your hand if your wife is not here. It was a great engagement with each and everyone in this room. But Toastmaster Mustafa can also work on to give as an audience for us to react each and every time. When he is asking question, he should give us little bit time. When he is saying raise your hand, he should give us little bit time to raise our hands. So he started very well, but he can excel with giving a proper time to react to the audience. He given a clear call of action that rejection and opportunity can turn into something great. Here, he started with that dream with Gen Z. Then, as a teacher, he went to the hostel of the blind kids. And from there, that story engaged us a lot. But when it comes to end, that two main things, rejection and opportunity, that we supposed to focus on more over there, I could suggest Toastmaster Mustafa, as he finished the speech in 5 minutes 30 seconds, around approximate 30 seconds, if you will more elaborate on, he already explained us about the opportunity as a teacher, but the rejection where at least one story or one important thing that he want to emphasize more, that will be a great suggestion. The third and most important is voice modulation. He tried his best to during the dialogues as a Gen Z as well as himself. But when he's doing that one, addition to that, when he's saying Gen Z was crying, he should give more time to react as a Gen Z rather than again move as Mustafa 2-3 times. Overall, the speech was having a structure. He started with the great quote and again end with the summary, like always in a life there will be a rejection and opportunity, but how we can do the actions according to that. So structure was clear, opening, body, and conclusion. But where he can focus more to excel is that time was there. So emphasize on mainly things such as story, where body language will be little bit add on, and message. Call to action is most important over here with the time what he was having. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nilesh. Can you have a big round of applause for Toastmaster Nilesh for joining us today? And may I request the Zoom master to bring the fourth evaluator, Toastmaster Neha. Can we check your audibility, Toastmaster Neha? If you could unmute and you can just say hello.
Hi, I'm on.
Some echo is there.
The audio is off.
Yeah, now it's better, I think. Yeah.
Hello? Toastmaster Satish, I can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
I don't know why the audio is off.
Yeah, now it's better. Your voice has become very clear now.
No, it's still off.
Now it's better. Yeah. Now we can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear you, but I presume that I'm supposed to begin, so I'm beginning.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
So
good evening, everybody. In a virtual room, inspiring an audience is one of the toughest things to do. Attention is fragile and emotion doesn't always travel. Yet today, with pity fly or butterfly, the speaker made a gracious effort in the right direction. What worked well? Firstly, the opening quote from Helen Keller immediately set the tone for emotional roller coaster. It wasn't just a quote, it framed the entire journey of the speech. Secondly, the personal story of Gen Z, introduced as a dream, was beautifully layered. The moment when he humorously was woken up by his mother brought lightness and relatability. Thirdly, the rejection due to appearance, an example of visually impaired children, was handled with utmost sensitivity. We weren't just listening then, we were visualizing. Your message, target speaker, was crystal clear. Focus on your blessings, use them as your strengths, and change the world. And the closing line, what do you dream about? A pity fly or a butterfly? Was strong, thought provoking, and memorable. To take this speech from inspirational to truly unforgettable, I have a few growth suggestions. Firstly, consider more audience interaction, especially in a virtual setting. A simple, reflective question or moment could have invited the audience into your story. Because when people interact, they feel, and when they feel, inspiration deepens. Secondly, you could have slowed down slightly during the emotional peaks, giving the audience a second to delve and reflect upon what you were trying to convey and sink into it powerfully. Finally, one brief personal takeaway as to how you changed because of the realization that you went through with a personal example could make the message even more relatable. To summarize, dear speaker, this was a well structured, emotionally rich speech in a space where it's very difficult to move hearts through a Zoom screen. You moved us in the right direction. With a little more interaction and intentional pauses, this dish has the potential to go from inspiring to truly unforgettable. Thank you so much for reminding us to dream, not as pity flies, but as butterflies. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Neha. Please join me in giving a big round of applause to Toastmaster Neha for volunteering for today's evaluation workshop. And may I request the final evaluator for today,
I've just sent a
Toastmaster
message.
Sergio Abira.
Just give me, he's coming, I think.
Yeah. Hi, good evening, Toastmaster Sergi.
Hello?
Yes, Toastmaster Sergi Abira.
Yeah.
Sergio Abira.
Okay.
Yeah.
One second. Okay. Let me know if all is well. Okay, you can see me?
Yes, we can hear you also. Yeah.
All right, amazing.
Okay, let's welcome Toastmaster Sergio Abira. He will be evaluating based on the project objective, inspire your audience. Timer, are we ready? Can we start? Yes. Yes, over to you, Toastmaster Sergio Abira.
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, what do you dream about? Pity fly or butterfly? This was the powerful way Toastmasters Mustafa ended his speech. Toastmasters Mustafa started by hooking us with the best things in life that cannot be seen, and then shared 4 insightful stories, and finally ended with this powerful statement. Now I will be dividing my evaluation into 2 parts: what Toastmasters Mustafa excelled at and what can be improved. Toastmasters Mustafa had a proper use of vocal varieties, and especially that was depicted when he was telling us about the story of the hospital. It was so exciting at the point. Toastmasters also connected with us. He asked us a question at some point, and this helped us also feel that we are part of his speech and reflect more with the answer that we were willing to answer. And also, Mustafa had proper use of hand gestures. His hands were always visible, and this is coming from Zoom. This is really very powerful. It helps him express more than facial varieties and the body language that we cannot use or we cannot see fully. Now, how can we take this speech from a good speech into becoming a great speech? Although the stories were very inspiring, they were very touching, each by itself, I felt that the first 2 stories were deeply connected, while the second 2 stories were a little bit disconnected from the original 2. At some point, I felt I was struggling to connect the butterfly story to Gen Z. And what I would suggest is to always use connected stories, and always also transition between your stories. This will help your audience to follow through and to enjoy the ride while you are moving along through your speech. And this could be like, for example, when you are moving between the story of what was the third? Sorry, the third story about where you, at some point, you felt like you wanted to commit suicide. And then we can transition from that. Like, just when you are done, you think like life has given you everything. Life throws to you surprises with a powerful transformation. And then you can go along and talk about the transformation of the caterpillar. Another powerful tool you could use in your speech is the power of pauses, especially when you are describing a touching moment, like when you said, I felt crushed, I felt stupid and ugly, and I even considered committing suicide. So overall, excellent vocal varieties, excellent connection with the audience, proper hand gestures. What I would advise is to use transitions in your speeches and use the power of pauses. And my friend, keep dreaming of butterflies. One day you will fly high. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters Sergio Abirat, for joining us and volunteering for today's workshop. Can we have a big round of applause for Toastmaster Sergio? And may I also request the timer to give the timing for the evaluations.
Time taken by Toastmaster Fatin, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Disqualified. Evaluated to Toastmaster Kanivet, 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Qualified. Toastmaster Nilesh, 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Qualified. Toastmaster Neha, 3 minutes and 1 second. Qualified. And Toastmaster Sargi, 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Disqualified. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Kamal, for that timing report. And it's time for me to welcome again our distinguished Toastmaster trainer for today's workshop, Distinguished Toastmaster Brahm Memone, to give the feedback for all the evaluators to take their evaluation to the next level. Over to you, Distinguished Toastmaster Brahm.
Thank you. Let's look at what the speaker did first and where they could really improve. And from that, you gauge as to where you were. And then I might mention a couple of evaluators as well. But the purpose of the speaker was to inspire us that no matter what you face, in the end, you are a butterfly, and you never know during the process of being a butterfly what the process is. You might look ugly. You might feel suicidal if you are just going to be looking at yourself and looking at all the rejections, right? So that was the takeaway, is you really are a butterfly in the making. That was my takeaway. Now, how did the evaluator, how did the speaker use that to drive home the final takeaway? And he used two main stories, right? Jansi and the blind people. One who could see him and so was judging him from his looks. He did mention he was thin and the way he looked years ago when he was in school. So that was a major point, right? So this is what the evaluators needed to focus on, is what was the driving point? What they inspired? Was it an inspirational type of presentation? How did the speaker choose his presentation? How did he construct the presentation to drive home that point at the end? The end point was clear. Now, was the end point very clear anyways? One of the first evaluator did say to tighten up the ending, right? That was our very first evaluator who wasn't on the video there. And she was confused about the ending and what really the ending was. The ending was disjointed for sure. It wasn't very clear. From my brief notes that I made, okay, so here it is, right, is, mentioning the butterflies, the National Geographic magazine and the butterflies and the personal appearance is not that important because of the process, right? And then he went on to, a bit later on, like a second ending. You may get rejected in professions, and every rejection will transform you into a beautiful butterfly. So like it was more of an extension of those sort of things, and it was not clearly put together, right? So that was the ending, but I know what the ending was supposed to be. We've all heard the story of the butterfly. We all know what the speaker was driving to. So you knew, all the evaluators knew what the speaker was driving to and what are the two stories that he was using to drive to that. How our very last evaluator did catch that they were disjointed, however, the stories. How the butterfly related to Jansi. Very good point. Therefore, the wording that you used, the speaker that is, should have been much more clearer in terms of Jansi, right? I just noted a few words, love, hugs. There was photo in the phone, I believe, Jansi crying. You had a lot of drama. And this is one of the things that I specifically mentioned in my workshop, the drama that people do, because we get caught up in the drama. And because it's become so normal in Toastmasters, especially in your part of the world, I hear a lot of people complain about the drama and all that, is that a lot of people complain about being over-dramatic. Now, here's the thing is, how does a speaker need to convey emotion? And here it is. This is very, very important for every one of you to understand this. He was talking more about Jansi crying and all that. That wasn't necessary. It was how Mustafa himself was feeling was important. How Jansi was doing what she was doing was not necessary. And the dramatic about Jansi was not necessary at all. How Mustafa was feeling. So when you want to convey to the audience, when Jansi was rejecting you, when Jansi was crying, how were you feeling? You have to convey to the audience how you were feeling. So here's the thing. And don't pretend. You have to feel the feelings that you felt when you saw Jansi doing whatever she was doing. What were your feelings? And you have to feel those feelings now, so that the audience gets you. And that's where the pause comes in. Were you feeling sad, suicidal when Jansi was doing her drama, and then she rejected you? How were you feeling? You have to bring your feelings to the present. it means internalized. It was not internalized, it was just an act. And when it is an act, people will not remember this. They'll forget your presentation. You didn't move the audience. The audience will only move when you feel the emotion that you're trying to convey. So feel the emotion that you felt at that time, not what Jancy was doing. That's not important. Tell us, of course, this is what she did, but this is how I felt. I felt suicidal, sad, and I didn't know where I would go from here. See what I mean? So that is where the evaluators need to tighten up, is the speaker needs to feel the feelings. The speaker needs to say what he heard. The same words. This is what I heard. This is what happened. This was what I experienced, and bring it here, right here for the audience. That's the only time the audience will move. Otherwise, the audience doesn't get moved. And when the audience doesn't get moved, it's not memorable. So now, Mustafa, I hope I have been of service to you in terms of that you have to practice. And I know it's very hard for a speaker to feel the feelings, right? You have to become a great character actor. When an actor was new, right, and they're acting, you can see he's acting. But when they've sort of got hold of their acting and they actually internalize the actor and be in character, you get it. It feels real. And they move you. If they're crying, you start to cry, right? There's some actors who cry and you say, what the heck is this? Nonsense. Just get away from the screen. Would you agree? So that's what I mean is by that. I've berated that point enough, but that was the major point of the whole thing, is the connection between the speaker and the audience, and to move the audience. And therefore, the evaluators would have gotten your story that Jancy did this to you. She had eyesight, she had everything going for her, but she rejected you just because of the way you looked. But you were a butterfly in the making. See, now we're connecting all the stories together. So this is what you should have done, Mustafa. So this is what the evaluators should pick up on. This is where it would make the speech powerful. Okay, so here are a few things that the evaluators did and shouldn't have done. Specifically, is some evaluators were saying what the speaker was saying. They're just repeating what the speaker was saying rather than giving the evaluation. Your evaluation is not about repeating what the speaker is saying. Your is, where did the speaker excel? What did I get out of the presentation? And was it appropriate? Helen Keller quote, great quote, amazing, great quote. It added to the presentation. Your expressions were great. The story of Jancy, here you could improve on the story of Jancy by whatever, right? And then, of course, the butterfly itself and so on. And of course, also when you were with the blind people, another one, how the blind people felt. You feel the feelings that you felt, not what the blind people are feeling, what you felt, express it here, okay, and so on. That makes the connection fine. The whole speech would come together. Very simple few tweaks, right? And the whole speech would just come together and be alive, and it would end with a bang, and make sure the bang is that the ending is tight, and you would have a great presentation. So I don't know what the evaluations feel about all this. I'm just looking at my notes here. Some evaluators, of course, begin with delivery skills again. Like I'd said specifically, right? Don't begin with delivery skills. If you look at the judges' form in the International Speech Evaluation Contest, the judges' form, if you're a judge, you first have to look at, let me just bring my judges' form up here, right here. It's nothing to do with delivery. It's to do with speech development, effectiveness, and the value of the speech to the audience, right? That's the first thing that you will do as a judge. And therefore, as an evaluator, guess what you would do? And then, of course, if you look at the evaluation ballot, how does an evaluator evaluate? Analytical quality. How was the evaluator's analytical quality? And then the recommendations. So analyze. It didn't say repeat the speech, right? If you're an evaluator and you're being judged by the judges, analytical quality, was it clear? Was it focused? Were there recommendations? And then the technique that you used and the summation at the end. Okay? So that's very, very important. Have a look at the judges form for both the speaker and the evaluator. But if you are in an evaluation contest, use the evaluator's judges form to find out technique, right? And effectiveness of what the presentation here. Analytical quality, and then of course the rest. So that's where the speaker should be coming from, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's adequate for today. And over to our Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, Distinguished Toastmaster Brahm, for that insightful evaluation. I can see the power of listening, how much we can go into detail of listening and then bring out that entire detailed evaluation. Thank you very much. And moving forward, this time for us to know if you have any questions there from the participants. We have around 54 participants now. And if there is any questions, you can unmute and ask, else you can put it in the chat. We have few minutes for that, giving the so yeah. So it seems there's one question. Is it okay to start the evaluation with a quote or a sentence from the speech itself?
It's a question for me, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So I would suggest, of course, as I did it when I opened the evaluation, when I said something about the speaker, I said, what was my takeaway? And was I inspired or informed or persuaded, entertained, whatever it was? That gives rise to, you don't have to mention anything about what the speaker did. You don't need to do that. You could just said you used the quote that set the stage and go on, rather than repeat the quote. You don't have to repeat anything that the speaker said, right? Don't do that, because you only have 3 minutes. Actually, one of the evaluators, I think it was the first evaluator, said, this is what I'm going to evaluate you on. This is what I'm going to be saying, and wasted a minute saying what they would be saying. You only have 3 minutes, right? So don't say what you're going to be saying. Just tell us what's on your mind, because we know that's what you are here for. So things like that. Shortcut everything to the points that you really want to hammer home.
I'm sure that everybody has taken a lot of insights already. I think there's no further questions. So thank you very much, Toastmaster, Distinguished Toastmaster Brahm, for that insights and evaluation. And moving forward on the agenda, I would like to hand over the stage back to our Toastmaster, the Master of Ceremony, Toastmaster Sunita, to take it forward.
Thank you, Toastmaster Satish. You have expertly conducted the evaluation session, and our appreciation also goes to DTM Brahm for providing constructive feedback to both our speaker as well as the evaluators. Now, to formally conclude the session, it is my pleasure to introduce Toastmaster Paramjit, immediate past Area 3 Director of Division, District 127, based in Sharjah, UAE, and a dedicated Toastmaster since 2020. He is a design and development manager, a certified NLP trainer, and a growth mindset coach. Currently, he serves as the Division A training lead And let's all join me in welcoming Toastmaster Paramjit to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Paramjit.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sunita. Thank you for all your overwhelming introduction also. And now, as we come to the end of this enriching evaluation workshop, it is my privilege to extend our gratitude on behalf of Division A, District 127. Now, first and foremost, our sincere thanks to our master trainer, Brahm Memone. I would like to add few things here about Brahm Memone, DTM Brahm. I have been, he has been my mentor from last 2.5 years, 3 years. I have been a member of Leadership Speak. And if you want to have this type of workshops every Tuesday, because for all the members, all the Toastmasters of Leadership Speak, they get the same chance every Tuesday. Every Tuesday at DTM Brahm, when he comes, we have our extraordinary classes. And there, anybody who is going to give a speech, then there are few evaluators. Then Brahm, again, last he gave his own feedback, which has transformed so many of Toastmasters, which just came like a normal from the community club. They have become best evaluators. I had been a member from the 2.5 years, and I have been joining these meetings. The same workshop we are hearing is, he tells it over there. Every Tuesday it is happening over there. So I really extend my, and this is what I'm saying, because I feel, but I have learned from him, and a lot of us had learned from him, all the members, whatever, of Toastmaster. I like to extend my gratitude to him with sharing the certificate for his appreciation. Just give me 1 minute. Thank you, DTM Brahm Memone, for taking your time and the energy you always carry, and the way you have enriched us, everyone over here in the workshop. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Now I like
Thank
to
you, Paramjit.
I like to extend my greetings for division directors, area directors, and all those people who have given unwavering support to make this workshop possible. Of course, there's an organizing team which works behind the scene, and the people and all those who has come over here for doing the evaluation. So let me share certificates for all the participants. Of course, our MC, Sunita, she is always present whenever we have such meetings, and she make the room with a full of energy. Thank you, Sunita, for your all the help as well as support and your energy which you carry on to our meeting. Thank you very much, sir. Our Sergeant at Arms, Chitra Nanda. Thank you, Chitra, for your help and support. It was really nice to listen from you, and I think your first time SAA for this class. Really, it was really pleasant. It was really enjoyable to be seen to listen to you. Kamal Bishwas, the timer from Rendezvous Club. Thank you, Kamal, for your time and support. Muhammad Mustafa. Wow. Thank you very much for becoming a courteous and presenting a speech. And the feedback, I think you might have received from now. Brahm will help you to make this speech even more at a higher level. Whatever he has said, that it's not internalizing, you become a more better actor. I think this will be really helpful to you. Thank you for your time and support. And all our evaluators, they took their time as well as courage to be in front of it and do the evaluation. And I'm very sure all of you must have gained an insight of how to become a pro evaluator. Toastmaster Nilesh, Toastmaster Neha, Toastmaster Fatin, thank you for coming in the front and doing your best. And to all the participants, thank you very much for your energy, openness, and active involvement. as we return to our class, we carry forward the lessons learned from this workshop. Let us do evaluate to elevate. Over to you, Toastmaster Sunita.
I think she left.
Okay, Toastmaster.
Good evening once again. Thank you so much, everyone, for being there till now. And what an exciting, insightful session we had today. My special thanks and gratitude to our trainer, DTM Brahm, for all that valuable insight that you provided today. It was a great learning experience. And thanks to all the role players for making this workshop practical and engaging. And also to our wonderful audience who stayed till the very end. Thank you so much. And thanks to my entire team of my division council, including the area directors and the club officers and the club members and all the attendants who are here from our district team and even beyond the district. And I would like to just mention a special thanks to our Division A training lead, our Toastmaster Paramjit Singh, who had been instrumental in organizing this workshop. It was mainly his idea and the efforts that we could have this session. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Paramjit. And then now, with that, I just officially close this workshop. And now just would like to get a feedback from our first from our trainer, like DTM Brahm, if he's here.
A message that he is already late for another meeting, so I think we can
fine.
have.
Okay, fine. So we can just start with our district finance manager, DTM Ganeshan. Just to share your.
Good evening, Division Director Prasad Kadam. Thank you very much, all your role players, all the Division A, and especially Toastmaster DTM Paramjit Singh for organizing a beautiful evaluation. This is the unique style of evaluation I have seen because evaluation like a pro, and that with demonstration done at a time when the contest is nearing. What more you want? So I'm very happy that people have listened patiently to all the evaluation and the demonstration beautifully done by all the speakers. Very well done. Really engaging session and enjoyed the code till last moment. That's why I didn't feel like going away from it. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, DTM Ganeshan. Now I would like to request our district language chair, DTM Ravinder Singh, just to share your feedback.
Thank you, Division Director, for giving me this opportunity to thank you for the Division A to take this step forward. It is like a pro education session which we are attending before, and it was a very much essential to our members of District 127, where we are doing something, but we are lacking behind to become more effective and efficient in doing the things. So thank you very much, your team and you for conducting. And we are very thankful for Brahm TTM to came and given us this opportunity to listen to him. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, DTM Ravinder. Now I would like to request our division advisor Toastmaster Kaushik, if he is there, to just share your feedback for today's session.
I don't think he's here.
Okay. Next, any Toastmaster?
Is muted. Yeah. Yeah.
Toastmaster Raja, our division club growth director.
Thank you so much, Division Director Toastmaster Prasad. Today's session was really eye-opener for me, and lots of learning from multi evaluators as well. And whatever the trainer today said, don't do that. And exactly, I was doing it. Like, for example, awesome, I love it, and all that. So I'm going to correct it. So overall, this training session was highly useful for me. Thank you so much. Over to you, Division Director Toastmaster Prasad.
Thanks so much, Toastmaster Raja. Now it's open, like if anybody want to share their feedback or anything they can share.
DTM Brahm, are you there? If possible, then you can share the feedback. No, I think so. He's not there. Yes. I think we have Sirs
Toastmaster,
he was one of the evaluators.
we have Area 1 Director Toastmaster Nazi is here. Toastmaster Nazi, if you'd like to just share your feedback.
Hello, everyone. Hope all is good. Thank you for this insightful session. And yes, it was like, especially the tips at the end when our dear trainer evaluated the evaluator. It was very insightful, and I think it's fruitful. Thank you so much, and let's keep it up.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nazi. Anybody else would like to give any feedback? No, so I think we can. Then thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. So we can just close it for the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night and enjoy your weekends as well.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, AD Toastmaster Satish, and special mention to you also.
Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Everyone. Nice to meet you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Ganeshan. Thank you very much for your time. Sridhar also.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.